So hello and welcome to the UCI BMX Racing World Cup from Santiago del Estero in Argentina. This is round number 6 of 6. Yes, this is the finale of the season's World Cup racing in what is an amazing venue that played host to round 5 and saw some thrills and spills. Rich Eames and myself, Matt Payne, here once again to bring you all of the race action from this amazing track. And Rich, it's a great place to have a World Cup. So we have the amazing venue here of Santiago del Estero, a place, Rich, that you know well. You've been and visited, had a look around, enjoyed it?
Yeah, lucky to get there a couple of times over the years. It's a fantastic venue, a great city to be in. The people are so friendly and the fans are super enthusiastic.
And it's such a fusion of old city, new towns. We're in that mixture of being between the flatlands and the plains and going into the Andes Mountains about 150 kilometres away. It really is somewhere where you can get that whole mixture, that whole feel of Argentina.
Yeah, definitely. It's a fantastic venue. It's a great venue for a World Cup. And, you know, I'm really glad we're here again.
Well, we are indeed. As you can see, it's a tad breezy today. The weather has changed slightly. The temperature has dropped by about 10 degrees centigrade. It's also picked up in wind speed, almost double the wind speed, with gusts reaching about 40 to 42 kilometres an hour today. Overcast, so a lot of different conditions to the conditions that we saw for round number 5. That will affect the racing, and that wind particularly, Rich, where it's gusty, is going to make a difference.
Yeah, it definitely does. It gets a bit windy. It can make a difference. You know, if your rider gets taken away, gets the front wheel taken away going over a jump, you need that little bit of extra care, but it's not going to stop the racing being red hot.
Well, this track has definitely tested our riders, and I think for me it's going to be interesting to see just how they deal with it today. It was hard enough yesterday. It's a really fantastic track to race on, and the scale of it has to be seen to be believed. And some of the features here, really some of the big features and some of the steepest features that we see across the circuit. Yeah,
there's some big lips on that second straight. It gets pretty steep pretty quickly. You know, control, and we saw in round 5's under 23 final when Jason Nordam overshot a couple of those jumps on that second straight. You've really got to be precise on this track here at Santiago del Estero. But that said, it's a very, very fair racetrack. It's one that the riders absolutely love racing on, and it always provides the best of the action.
Well, we're going to be watching that race action unfold here right the way through. The start of the racing kicks off with our men's under-23 eighth finals and the men's elite quarterfinals and the men's under-23 quarterfinals. That's in part 1. Part 2, well, we're going to be back with our quarterfinals and into our semi-finals and finals. We're going to basically make our way right the way through the racing. The riders having to put in repeat effort time and time again, and the spectators get all of that racing in front of them.
Yeah, the effort that you put in as well. It's it's something that you've got to manage, work really hard, but manage it all the way to the end.
Hola a todos, soy Fede Villegas, estamos acá en Santiago del Estero para la Copa del Mundo de BMX Racing. Vamos a hacer el preview de la pista. So here we are on the 8-meter hill, and you can see you have the global view of the track. You can see how they fit a big track on a kind of a small space of land. Then you have the big hill to start, around 60k an hour down there before that first jump. The first jump is key. You don't want to go that low because if you case it, you lose all the drive. Get on that first turn on the inside if you can. Out of the first turn, you come up very quick into this steep lip. It's one of the steepest concrete lips, I believe, in BMX for a second straight. So it definitely requires a lot of control for you to get that backside. So we're here on the second straight for the women's side. Very interesting second straight. The second jump on this straight is very challenging. And if you case this jump, all the flow is lost. And here we have the men's side for the second straight. Look at this lip, look how big it is. It's a very tall lip, and you gotta control your bike very much. And look at the brakes, the brake marks we have here, because once you carry all this speed, sometimes you gotta tap on these brakes. Man, it's impressive to look at it from here, and you can see why it's so hard, eh? So here we have the third jump for the men's pro side, and it's very interesting to see a step down. Then as well, you get into the second turn, any lines available. You can go inside, you can go through the middle, through the outside. So here we are onto the third straight for the men's side. You come out of the second straight very quick, and then you have these 3 gaps, and you gotta be very precise on them. You gotta be very precise on this landing in particular to get that next gap in. But yeah, these 3 gaps are gonna be key for the race. You can see here how the future of the BMX in Argentina is working. We have a 1-year-old probably riding the track already, so yeah, it's very nice to have fun and look at all these kids ride. Here we have the last straight. As you can see, this table tour is very high. As you see, the finish line is right there, but you got to get this first jump well done first, and yeah, it's definitely a key factor to race. Gracias a todos por mirar, la verdad que estamos muy contentos de tener la Copa del Mundo en Argentina de vuelta. Vamos Argentina.
Well, it's always great to get that insight and to get a local's view of the track, somebody who knows that track inside out. A couple of points from there. Casing jumps. For those people who don't know what casing a jump is, quick explain it.
If you're new to BMX and you hear of a rider casing a jump, it just means they've come up short, they've tagged the top of that jump, lost that momentum, and it takes away the speed, allows other riders behind possibly to get closer and maybe even overtake.
So not making the downside of the jump, hitting the top, that's casing. One of the things that was very evident from the track yesterday was Michelle Vissing, the speed that she got coming down that third straight. She really drove the momentum on this. She wasn't the only rider, but it was very evident with her for round 5. She really accelerated there, and that set her up to come round the final turn and onto that last straight. The momentum she carried there was phenomenal. We saw the same from Laura Smulders as well. Really able to propel. What makes that difference in that third straight?
It's just that you've got all those jumps, Matt, that are so close together on that rhythm section, as we call it, and you're able to generate a lot of speed in a very short space of time, which Michelle Vissing used to her advantage. She went into that last corner, set herself up for the final straight, and she was in perfect position to take the win.
Well, we're going to see who's going to take away today's win during the course of today's racing here in Santiago del Estero, the final round of the BMX Racing World Cup for 2025. And quite incredible that we've reached that already. Our under-23 competitions, well, the top places settled in both the men's and the women's competition, but battles below, and of course the pride of taking away that final win. And that momentum, it drives you into the off-season as well. That's a really valuable thing to motivate you when you're training. In terms of the elite racing, by no means settled. So much is going to come down to what happens in today's racing, both the women elite and the men's elite, and it's going to really determine where the World Cup title goes.
Yeah, it's tough competition all round in those elite categories. The titles, like you say, are still to be decided. So there's a lot of drama about to unfold, a lot of storylines that are about to appear in front of us. I, for one, can't wait to see what's going to happen next.
So the riders making their way up on towards the start ramp here onto the gate, and then the 8-metre high hill that propels the riders down. We'll see the first of the action here today from Santiago del Estero. So we're going to be watching what unfolds. The riders held down there, and you can see the riders keeping out of the sunshine as it's here. So time for the first of our racing here today. It's our men's under-23 finals here today, and it's going to be really interesting to see who comes out on top. Now, the men's 8th finals, at the very first of our 8th finals, we're going to see the man who's won the series.
Yep, Jason Noordam of the Netherlands took the overall win in under-23, and he holds the title. He's in this first of the 8 finals. And it'll be interesting to see if the motivation has dropped since he took the title, but I very much doubt it hasn't.
I can't imagine it has. Let's face it. This is a man who's so much of a born winner. So at the moment, on the right-hand side of your screen, in gate number 1, Jason Noordam lined up and ready to rock and roll. So let's see who's going to take it out. Will it be lane 1, gate 1? Will it be the whole shot for the man who's already won the World Cup overall?
Yep, there is Jason Noordam of the Netherlands wearing the European Championship jersey. Already has the World Cup title in his hands, but it won't stop the likes of Juan Jose Arango Patino doing his absolute best to take the win here in Santiago del Estero. Riders just on hold at the top of the start hill, just awaiting the instruction from our commissaires, and we are ready to go.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Gate drops on the first of the 8 finals here for men under 23, round 6 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup, and as we expected, Jason Noordam of the Netherlands, the European champion, out in front and looking good so far. Juan Jose Arango Patino in there as well for Colombia, but it looks like the rider from the neutral team, Alexander Kazantsev, who's worked his way into that second spot. Arango Patino in there in 3, just trying to pick up the rider in 4 as they go in and out of that final turn. That looks like Aguilera of Chile, who's in there in 5. He might have just left himself that bit too much to do, as have the 2 Canadian riders. De La Vega going through in that 4th spot, but Noordam already showing some serious speed.
Well, Jason Noordam there, just starting as he means to go on. He just... nothing phases him. It's windy today. We had great conditions yesterday. Off from that start, and you could just see instantly just right into his rhythm.
Yeah, absolutely. Straight into his rhythm. He had gate 1. He was on the inside. You know, he said in previous rounds how much time and work and effort he put in the gym in the off-season, and it's certainly paid off because the speed and the power definitely there as he crossed the line in that 8th final. Jason Noordam of the Netherlands looking very good early on here at round 6 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. Just taking a quick look at the confirmed results. Jason Noordam taking the win. Alexander Kazantsev in that second spot. Arango Patino and De La Vega going 3 and 4. Aguilera of Chile, the unlucky rider, in 5. Just having a quick look behind the scenes. Just seeing the riders just preparing, taking the time, all smiles, very relaxed here in South America. Certainly these younger South American under-23 riders just taking the time to soak up every single aspect of a World Cup weekend, building that skill level and testing their mettle against the best in the world.
So time to see who's going to move through. One non-starter in this heat, that is Pablo Laguita. He's not going to be taking to start the Argentinian rider. So limited numbers, but it is still 4 riders going through and moving on. The rest of the riders eliminated from the racing.
Riders very nearly ready to go, just awaiting the signal from our commissaires. And Alexander Emmel of Switzerland on that 520 plate. He's there in gate number 2. He's already made a World Championship final in his career in Glasgow in 2023. Came 6th in that particular final.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
1-8 final number 2 for the men under 23. Where is Alexander Emmel? He's right there in the middle of the pack at about 4th at the moment, just as working his way into the turn, diving up into that 3rd spot. Looks like Zimmerman of Brazil, who's out in front. He struggled in round 5, went down in a crash, and that ended his day, but he's looking good in this 8th final. Zachary Kaiser of Canada in there as well, and Cardoso of Argentina rounding out the top 4, but under a little bit of pressure as they go in and out of that final corner. But it's going to be Zimmerman of Brazil bringing it to the line. Zachary Kaiser's going to take that too. Emmel's going through as well in 3. Cardoso in 4, and it was Manzano, the unlucky rider, in 5, but Zimmerman having a much better day than he did in round number 5.
Yeah, a much happier rider this time around, and no surprises there. Great start from him as well. Very quick down to the start. His start time 2.432 seconds. So within touching distance of the time of Noordam, which was 2.42 seconds.
Yep, Alexander Emmel didn't quite get the start that he wanted. We just see him there coming around that second turn, chasing down Zachary Kaiser of Canada. But certainly working his way into the top 4, which is exactly where you need to be. But Lucas Maresco Zimmerman, he was the man out in front as this 8th final came to the line. Took the win, qualified for the quarterfinals with a good gate pick. He'll be more than happy with that one.
So, of our 8th finals, I know that sounds complicated, but believe me, it's not. It is the riders going through from the second of those 8th finals. Zimmerman, Kaiser, Emil and Cardoso, who will move on through from the 8th finals into our quarter-finals. So, 2 done, 4 more to go. The riders all ready to go. Plenty of them itching to be up there, but you can see the breeze blowing through down below. You can see those jerseys just moving in the breeze. It's certainly windy down at the track today.
Yeah, it's a little bit more breezy than it has been, but it won't stop these riders. Hopefully there'll be a tailwind coming down the hill and that'll just benefit them that little bit.
Oh, I think it's a headwind down the hill, sadly. It's not a tailwind down there, judging by the race officials. Here we go, heat number 3.
Heat 3 lining up. This one has Evan Oliveira of France in gate number 1, the newly crowned Junior Men World Champion, moving up to under 23. Round 5 was his very first World Cup appearance, and he was delighted with the way it went for him. He's there in gate 1. Gate number 2, Santiago, Franco Molina. Right on the outside for Canada, that is Jacob Kaiser on that 5:10 plate. Out in gate number 6, so we'll have to get out early and get across.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Heat 3 of the under-23 Men 1/8 finals heading down the hill, and it is Evan Oliveira of France moving himself up and looking very, very comfortable in this men's under-23 class, already being chased down by Franco Santiago Molina in there into the Canadian rider Kaiser going through in 3. He's got a little bit of work to do if he wants to catch up on the top 2. Cervantes in that 4th spot. Looks like there might have been a bit of action and a couple of riders have gone down, but Evan Oliveira just coming under pressure now from Molina down that final straight. Evan Oliveira is going to hang on to it at that line. He takes the win. Oliveira in 1, Molina in 2, Kaiser in 3, Cervantes going through in 4. It was Aguilera and Grigoletto who didn't finish. Be interesting to see what happened there, Matt.
Just a little bit of a tangle on the way down. One rider just getting caught up in that. We'll get to see it really quickly here, straight off from the gate, but it went wrong really fast.
Yeah, he got a bit out of shape early doors, people touching bars and elbows, and it just started a chain reaction, and Aguilera just got caught up by Grigoletto, and that put him on the floor as well. Both riders hopefully walking away. Meanwhile, Evan Oliveira of France, the Junior Men World Champion, working his way into that first turn, taking an early hole shot, and he looked very, very comfortable at this point. He was Franco Santiago Molina in that second position, chasing him down. Jakob Kaiser almost with a desperate bid to get anywhere near the top 2, but he was inside the top 4, so that's the only place he needed to be.
It was indeed, and it's very, very key. Just watching that momentum there being scrubbed, we saw Kaiser there just lose it, and it's so precise, this track, and it's so precise, BMX in general. Now everyone thinks it's all just explosive power, but it's not. It's about being able to deliver the power and to place the bike so you get that momentum, that you don't lose the momentum for the sake of just landing a couple of centimetres short or a couple of centimetres to the left or the right, or with the pedals just fractionally in the wrong place. You're going to lose so much time.
Yeah, you do have to be very precise on a track like Santiago del Estero. These jumps come up at you at speed, and it's about positioning, it's about skill, and it's about bravery. But as long as you get to where you need to be, which is inside the top 4 in these knockout rounds, all's good. You can always make up for it next lap around.
Well, Mathis Jackie, the rider on the far side there, Jackie, the rider who had a great day at the office at round number 5, moved from 4th position over into 2nd place, and Nordam taking away top spot. He sealed the top of the standings, but Mathis Jackie confirmed into 2nd place. He can't be touched for that position as well, with Jolly in 3rd place. So the round 5 really decisive in terms of the under-23 top positions, although behind those positions are all going to change, and those really important things, those points for the riders. Riders gain points in the World Cup for the World Cup standings. They gain points internationally on their racing licence as well for their standing overall, and all of those important for their value as a rider to a team and to sponsors.
Yep, it's all go here at Santiago del Estero. There's still plenty to play for, namely the World Cup win. Matti Jacquet out there in gate number 1. He's got Jonas Itzkoff next to him into Dodona of Argentina in there in 3. So, 3 Argentinians in this one. They're going to be looking to keep the crowds happy as we look at Mathis Jacquet from France on that 5.01 plate. He's had a great weekend so far in Santiago del Estero, the 5.12 of Jonas Idskov. The Danes have certainly put some great performances in from the World Championships onwards.
Riders ready, watch the gate.
Heat 4 heading down the hill. One rider's got it wrong already and hasn't managed to get over the jump. That was Ceres of Argentina, so he's out of the back. But let's have a quick look out front, and he's the winner of round number 5, Mathis Jacquet from France. He's got Dodona right there with him, and look at Jonas Idskov. He's there in that very familiar red Danish kit. He's worked his way up into that second spot, and I don't think he's done yet. Is he going to carry his momentum through this third straight? Catch Mathis Jacquet into that final corner. He's looking for a move down that final straight. Jacquet, he's got Idskov coming right up on him as they get to the line. Will Idskov catch him at the stripe? It was very, very close. Idskov and Jacquet with the photo finish. Dodona in 3, Diaz in 4. But Idskov coming down that final straight like a train.
And you could see he was coming. He was just building and building up that head of steam, and then you could see the pace he was coming. He then went onto that final straight and really drove that home. Really came down to the photo finish between the two riders, just waiting for that confirmed time as they came in through. Really accelerating. Mathis Jacquet after that winning round 5, coming here, securing that second place. He'll want to take the win, as you said. He did everything right, really, but strong riding by Idskov. He didn't have it a smooth way to get his way into challenge for the front of the race, though.
No, he didn't have it all his own way as they went into turn number 1. He was there in that third spot, but he started to wind it up down that second straight as they approached that second turn. I've got a feeling that Dodona just got slightly out of shape, which allowed Idskov to dive underneath and start his pursuit of Mathis Jacquet as they went down the straight in towards that final corner. Idskov was lining it up for the move, didn't have the time to go underneath, but railed that turn, pushed as hard as he could, focused himself to the line and literally made it by 6/1000ths of a second. And that's going to change his gate pick for the next round.
So it comes down to those split thousandths of a second here at Santiago del Estero. 32.108 for Idskov. Jacquet coming through with a 32.114. They go through with Dodona and Diaz. They're the riders propelling themselves onwards from here into our semi-finals.
Yep, just looking at heat number 5 in these 1/8 finals, and in gate number 1 we have Thomas Maturano. Maturano took a big tumble in round number 5. There was a sneaking suspicion that he wasn't going to be able to compete in round 6, but here he is.
It's good to see him back on the bike. He took a real bang to that wrist, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly did. He went down pretty hard, but he's up and he's giving it another shot.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
So as the penultimate men's 1/8 final for the under-23s heads towards turn number 1, and it is Thomas Maturano certainly suffering no ill effects from that crash in round number 5. Gets that second straight perfectly correct as he goes through, so carrying that momentum into turn number 2 as the riders start to stack up behind him. Santiago Santamarino's in there. Looks like Gamma, I think it is, has blown his lap. His day is pretty much done. So as they come to the line, it's going to be Thomas Maturano. He's had a Junior World Championship before now, takes this 1/8 final. Santiago Santamarino, certainly brightly coloured in that kit. Not going to miss him in the next round. But it's Thomas Maturano taking that win. Little fist bump, nice sportsmanship there, but Maturano looks like he's suffering no ill effects from that crash.
No, I did notice one black glove, one white glove. Now I don't know well enough to know whether that is a normal state of affairs, but he went down heavy on, I'm pretty sure it was his left hand, so maybe that he's just had to change those gloves over. But one white, one black glove on there, maybe just a sign that the gloves were all that took the impact, and the rest of him relatively undamaged. A great ride by him here.
Yeah, he looked absolutely superb, Thomas Maturano. Got himself into the perfect position, going round that turn. Precise through the second straight. He had Santiago Santamarino chasing him down. He was in the Palmazano Sabelos in there in that third spot. Joaquin Salem in 4th. All those riders going through, but certainly the pick of the bunch, Thomas Maturano of Argentina.
So the confirmed results, Maturana going through with Santa Moreno, with Sabalos and Salam. And they have booked their spot, moving on from our eighth into our quarterfinals, along as Itzkov, Jackie, Dodona, Diaz, Oliveira, Molina, Kaiser, Espinosa, Cervantes. We've got Zimmerman, Kaiser, Emil, Cardoza also going through. Nordam, Kazantsev, Arango, Patino. We've got De La Vega and Aguilera missing out on the rider in that very first heat. But 4 more riders to go through from this, the last of our 8 finals. And it does contain Cutter Williams in here, a rider who has the opportunity to really move up through the standings. Didn't get maybe the day that he wanted yesterday, 10th place in the end overall.
Yeah, James Cutter Williams of the USA. He's got Federico Capello of Argentina to deal with. Capello's already had a World Championship podium as a junior, so he's used to performing at the highest level. James Cutter Williams of the USA in gate number 2, Valentino Vallejo in gate 3. And in the centre of the picture, it's Dylan Tremmel of Canada.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
The last of the 1/8 finals for the men under 23, heading down the hill, and as expected, it is Federico Capello who's going to work his way into that first turn out in front, but look who's right on the back wheel. James Cutter Williams of the USA chasing him down. Vallejo's in 3, and Dylan Tremmel's under a little bit of pressure. He's lost that 4th spot now, so he's on the outside looking in, and there's all kinds of mix-ups going on, and Tremmel's gone high-low in the turn, and the Argentinian rider's gone off, so there's going to be a big battle for this 4th spot as they go in and out of the final turn. Meanwhile, Capello taking it to the line. James Cutter Williams in there in 2. Vallejo's going to go through in 3. Who's going to pick up that 4th spot? It's going to be Ordonez, Lopez, Pippin, Dylan Tremmel at the line. All the mix-up came in turn number 2. No such problems for Federico Capello, taking that win from James Cutter Williams, but there was all action in turn number 2.
So Capello continuing a 2nd place in round number 5 here at Santiago del Estero, and on that podium following Jacques ahead of Nordam last time out, taking away the win there. Here's countryman Seas just punching the bars in frustration after being taken out. Just run high on that corner and allowed Tremmel the chance to try and qualify, but didn't quite make it.
Yeah, Federico Capello looked really good going down that first straight, and you can already see Dylan Tremmel looking for a position as he goes into that turn, trying to work his way into the top 4. And the Argentinian rider dived under him. You can just see how high he got pushed in that turn. That ruined his lap. Day was over at that point, so Tremmel was in a big old battle with Ordonez Lopez for that final qualifying position. The front 3 were out and clear. Capello, Williams, Vallejo. They were going to go 1, 2, 3 at the line. Tremmel couldn't quite get to where he needed to be for that 4th spot. Gave it up to Sebastian Ordonez Lopez. He took that 4th spot. And Dylan Tremmel will learn from the experience, and he'll take it into 2026.
So here we go, confirmed the next 4, the last 4 riders through: Capello, Cutter Williams, Vallejo and Ordonez Lopez. The riders making it through as our last 4 riders to qualify in the men's under 23 8th finals. The 6 8th finals all done and dusted in that under 23 competition. To some degree, most of the favourites going in and through. Tremmel not having a great weekend this weekend.
No, he's had a tough one, and it's always hard when you travel so far and go to a World Cup and it doesn't quite work out, you know, the way you want it to. But I think the benefit for a rider who has that kind of thing, they've got the opportunity to go away, regroup, look at where things maybe could have been better, and just take that experience and build, you know, into the next season. Certainly, it will give him some motivation for winter training.
And some very dominant rides in there. Matthew Jacquet putting a phenomenal ride down, which is really what we expected to see from him. Taking that win in round 5, I mean, just really showing just why he's such a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, Mathieu Jacquet put in a really good performance in round number 5. It was his first World Cup win as an under-23. Absolutely fantastic to get that at any point. But yeah, superb result for him. Hopefully he can deliver more.
So a great racing in our under-23 men's 8th finals. They are complete. The riders now get a little bit of a break in the men's under-23. Let's just take a little bit of a look back at some of the best of the action. Nordam just continuing really as he's been all season, just right up in the battle, really fighting. But Mathis looking strong, definitely rider who I think could push him all the way here, but Nordam will be wanting revenge. Capello can't be counted out after that great ride.
No, Capello did put a fantastic ride in, but there's one rider I think I've got my eye on for this particular event, and that's Evan Oliveira of France, coming through from junior men as the world champion, come to his first World Cup weekend, and he just looks supremely comfortable. So Evan Oliveira of France, definitely one to watch as we go through into the quarterfinal stages. Just checking out Matisse Jacquet working his way into that first turn, and this was the last of those 8 finals, but it'll be on to the quarters.
So it's time to move on to our quarterfinals here at Santiago del Estero for the men's elite quarterfinals. We're going to see who is going to propel themselves up and through. Who is going to be there? Arthur Pilard flying in the round number 5, taking his second win of the season. It means he's the only rider in the men's elite competition to have won 2 rounds. 4 riders taking the win overall in the round so far. 8 podium riders, so riders who've been in the top 3 so far. Who's going to make their mark here today? Will it be one of our regulars? Will we see a different name amongst the podium?
Yep, just checking out Arthur Pilard, the world champion. Took the win in round 5, so he's coming to form just at the right time.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
As we watch the first of the men elite quarterfinals heading down the hill, the 2 French riders on the inside. Arthur Pilard, though, in the world champion stripes, heading into that corner and looking very, very good. Oh, riders down already. Theo Tuan's hit the deck, and that looked like Jakob Sardag as well. So the French and the Danish riders going out. Federico Villegas looking to make up for yesterday's disappointment when he had a blowout coming out of turn number 2. He's in there in that 3rd spot right now, and I've got a feeling that is Maurizio Molina Vergara who's in that final qualifying spot, but it's going to be Arthur Pilard taking it to the line, winning that quarter-final. Santos in there in 2, Villegas in 3, Vergara in 4. But 2 riders coming to grief, coming out of turn number 1, Theo Tuag and Jacob Sardag.
And Ray Langford, the other rider who's not going to make his way in through. Let's take a look at that again.
Yep, got the best of starts there. Arthur Pilard absolutely flying into that corner. Let's have a look. I think there was a little touch involving Federico Villegas. Got together with Theo Tuan. He slid down. Jakob Sardag had nowhere to go. He was straight into him. 2 riders down in that turn, taking the air fencing with them. Meanwhile, Pilard led it into the corner. Villegas looking good in 3 with Molina in 4. Ray Langford out of Florida, originally from Texas, in that 5th spot. Couldn't quite get to where he needed to be. Couldn't pick off the Chilean rider at the line. He'll be going back to Florida and putting that training in the off-season.
So Federico Villegas showing that knowledge of the track pays off here today. The rider from Argentina coming through in 3rd position there, with Molina making it the last rider through after Santos Medeiros de Cueros and Arthur Pilard who took the win. So the first of our quarterfinals done, 4 riders through. This is the second of our quarterfinals now. Remember, 4 riders through, 4 riders eliminated.
Yeah, looking at Gonzalo Molina, came second in round number 5, but he's most remembered for his famous victory here in 2019 in front of the adoring Argentinian fans. He really wants to get that done again, but he's going to have to get past the likes of Cameron Wood from the USA, the current USA BMX Pro Series champion. He's lined up in gate number 3. And then you've got Magnus Dial, world number 6, in gate number 4. A truly stacked race. Let's see what happens and who's going to make it through.
Riders ready, watch the gate.
He drops 8 riders heading down the hill. Magnus Dyer's got a great start and he's right there with Gonzalo Molina into the turn. Where is Cameron Wood? He's in there in 3, diving underneath, taking that second spot. So the American looking good right now in a comfortable qualifying position, but he's got pressure coming from Dyer and it's all getting shuffled up at the back of the pack as well. And Loris Eberhard's just been pushed wide, so that looks like it might be his race over as they go in and out of that final turn. It's going to be Molina, Wood, Dyer, 1, 2 and 3. I've got a feeling it's the Colombian rider Suarez in there in 4. Yes, it was Martin Bogart going out in 5, but Molina in fine form. He wants to make up for his little disappointment in round number 5.
Well, it was a little bit of disappointment. It wasn't the best day for him, but not disastrous. We're just going to have to see what we're going to get from them as we go onwards. I think for me here, we keep on seeing this. Getting the moves right on these turns critical, and there's a lot more of the bike going sideways that we're seeing on the track today than we saw yesterday.
Yeah, Loris Eberhard got out of shape across that first jump, but he certainly wasn't out of it at this point. He was in that 5th spot, got pushed wide, I think, coming out of turn number 2, and that was the thing that ended his lap. Meanwhile, Gonzalo Molina, we talked about a little disappointment, and, not many riders would be disappointed about coming second in a World Cup final, but he wanted that win. He wanted to repeat the victory of 2019, and you saw his head go back when he crossed the line. But he'll certainly be bringing the heat in those semi-finals.
And he'll have known that today's the chance. You've got chance 1 at round 5. You've got round 6 immediately after. You've got that chance. You know that you're capable of doing it. I mean, it could well be the day today. He's going to make that happen and get rid of that second place and replace it with a first. So let's see if he can do that as we move onwards. Just taking a little bit of a look down into the paddock here. The gloves just going back on again as we wait for our next heat in the men's elite racing in our quarterfinals. Just seeing Jason Nordholm there, just looking very calm and collected, isn't he? Just chilled out.
Yep, certainly did. And as we go to the top of the hill for the 3rd of the quarterfinals for the men elite, Simon Marquardt, the 2022 Elite Men World Champion, there he is on that 179 plate. He's in gate number 1. He's got Eddie Clerté, the current world number 3 and world pump track champion, next to him in gate number 2. So certainly some speed and some skills in those first 2 lanes. Nikita Ermakov, the neutral athlete, in gate number 3, and you've also got the current European champion Mati Sorago-Richard in gate number 4.
Okay. Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Oh, it was a long pause. We are go with the 3rd of the quarterfinals, and he's caught out the current European champion, Mathis Rago-Richard. So he's been shuffled down towards the back of the pack, but he's making up for it in turn number 1, diving underneath and working himself into a top 4 position, getting right there next to Simon Marquardt. But it's Eddie Clerté of France, the world number 3, who's leading this one through. Marquardt in 2, Rago-Richard's worked his way up into 3, and Renaud Blanc's in there in 4. So as they come out of the final corner, Eddie Clerté of France, is he going to take it to the line? Will Marquardt catch him at the stripe? I don't think he did. Clerté and Marquardt with a photo finish. Mathis Rago-Richard overcoming not the best of starts to work himself into the top 3. Renaud Blanc in 4, but certainly Eddie Clerté looking smooth, comfortable and in control.
And Eddie Clerté has the possibility of breaking into the top 3 overall, depending on what happens with Andre, with Pielard and with Wood. He has that possibility. It's mathematically possible if he has a great race here today. Mathis Rago-Richard, a terrible start from him, right at the back, pushed himself up. He didn't make the final in round 5. He was 10th overall in the end. He needs those points. He wants to be there. It'll really push him up through the standings.
Yeah, what I liked about Mathis Rago-Richard in that particular quarterfinal was he didn't get the start he wanted. There was a long pause, but he didn't panic. He kind of just played it smooth, got himself into a position to qualify, worked himself in. He's coming in 3rd spot, and that is just the consistency that you need at the World Cup level.
So job done there as we see Eddie Clerty, Simon Marcotte, Matthew Sorrego, Richard and Raymond Blanc, the riders going through. They're the four that go through in our penultimate quarter final with one more to go, which includes our series leader, Sylvain Andre. We've got Rico Bierman in there, Drew Polk, who again, another rider just on the wrong side of that cutoff to progress yesterday. He'll be looking to make that move. He just didn't quite get there.
Yeah, I know. Drew came fifth in the quarterfinal in round number 5, and if there's ever a rider who this track is tailor-made for, especially with the corners, it's Drew Polk, because it's always exciting. He's not scared to make moves. He's not scared to throw it in there. He gets the fans on their feet. And Drew Polk will be looking for his first World Cup final here in Santiago del Estero. But as we look at the series leader, Sylvain Andre of France, Olympic medalist, and one of the most favourite riders on the World Cup circuit. That's Rico Bierman of New Zealand in there in that gate number 2. Drew Polk in gate number 3, and Emilio de la Fuente of Argentina in gate number 4. As the riders just await the signal, and here we go. Last of the quarterfinals for the elite men.
Riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Quarterfinal number 4, heading down the hill. Andre on the inside. Drew Polk looks like he's got himself a better start this time around. He's in the top 4 position. Bierman's just working his way in there in 2, but it's already starting to shuffle around at the back of the pack. Polk still looking good in that 3rd spot, but it's Andre, Bierman, Polk. That is your 1, 2, 3. De La Fuente in there in 4, but De La Fuente's giving up a position, so he's under pressure now. He's on the outside looking in as they go towards the final corner. Sylvain Andre, the series leader, looking like he's going to pick up the win in this quarterfinal. Drew Polk's going to make it in 3 and go one step further than he did yesterday. Who got that final spot? Ribeiro and De La Fuente with a photo finish. Curtis Cray of Canada out in 6. So it's between Brazil and Argentina for that final qualifying position.
Well, we can confirm at least one of the South American riders are going to make it through. Which one will it be? Joining Sylvain Henri, Rico Bierman and Drew Polk in there. A good start. So critical here. Drew Polk getting it that time around. Came under pressure but always able to defend, and it was further back that really the issues then developed.
Yeah, it all started to get mixed up in positions 4, 5 and 6, and you can see that De La Fuente got pushed wide there. That'll cost him a little bit of momentum, so he had to battle all the way to the line. Had another go, dived underneath the Canadian rider coming in and out of that final turn. Meanwhile, Sylvain Andre was taking it to the line. Rico Bierman in 2, Drew Polk in 3. I have a sneaking suspicion it was Ribeiro of Brazil who took it at the stripe. Nice little show of sportsmanship between Andre and Bierman. Drew Polk safe in 3, and I think it's Ribeiro going through in 4.
So confirmed on your screens, it is indeed Ribeiro who gets that from De La Fuente. It all came down to what was a 100th of a second in that throw across the line, that final push in, and it means that Ribeiro, Polk, Bierman and Andre joined our previous qualifiers to make their way in and through from the men's elite quarterfinals into the semi-finals. We're going to see though next our men's under 23 quarterfinals, so no rest for these riders at the moment as they try and make their way into those finals here, and straight away back up Nordam up alongside Jackie Vallejo along with Sebel. It gets tough. It just gets tougher and tougher.
Yeah.
The quality is just getting increasing and increasing.
Yeah, absolutely. When you've got the likes of Jason Nordam and Matty Jacquet right next to each other in that gate, riders who've had World Cup wins this season in 2025, you can almost feel the tension. Matty Jacquet, winner of round number 5, in there in that gate number 2. He's got Valentino Vallejo on the other side of him as well. So let's see what he's got.
Random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
We are underway with the quarterfinals for the men under 23, round 6 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup here in Argentina. And Jason Nordam, the World Cup champion for 2025, leading it in and out of turn number 1. Mati Jacquet in there in that second spot. That looks like Ceballos, who's in there in 3, but he's got pressure coming. Oh, one rider dives underneath, there's been a touch, so it's all going to get mixed up. Cervantes is in there as well, and Cardoso is looking for a way through. But it's Nordam, Jacquet out front and clear. 1 and 2 bringing it down to the stripe. Nordam's going to get it. Who's going to get that 3rd and 4th spot? It was close at the line. Vallejo for the 3. Cervantes as well. Those 2 riders are going to go through. It just depends on the order. And Cardoso, I think, was out of the mix. But Jason Nordam, certainly just consistency shining through for the European champion from the Netherlands.
Only rider with the gate time down to that start timing point of less than 2.4 seconds. He's the only rider to consistently beat that time today.
Yeah, looking very good, Jason Nordam. I think he did make a slight mistake there going through that 3rd straight rhythm section. Jacquet right on the back wheel as they headed into turn number 2, but this is where it all got mixed up. You leave a door open in a turn and somebody's going to go through it. So you've got to be exactly and 100% sure of where you are. And one rider who was Jason Nordam, taking it to the line. The battle for 3 and 4 is just about the order. Vallejo and Cervantes both going through. And look at the delight on the fans' faces.
Well, you've got to say, I absolutely love it when you've got the family at the side there. You absolutely got them screaming for you. The support is going to be immense, and great to see riders on their home track here from Argentina making their way in and through. Great riding by Vallejo to go through in that 3rd position, and with Nordam taking the win. Jacquet in 2nd, Vallejo in 3rd, Espinosa Cervantes taking the 4th qualifying spot as we move from the 1st to the 2nd of our quarterfinals.
Yep, this has got Lucas Maresco Zimmerman, Jonas Itzkov, Evan Oliveira, Gianni Dodona, Juan Jose Arango Patino, and Jacob Kaiser of Canada. And there is Lucas Maresco Zimmerman of Brazil in gate number 1. But he's got Itzkov and Oliveira right there with him. Evan Oliveira of France on the 544. Junior men world champion, making his move to under 23, building his experience and looking very comfortable in the process. Let's see what he's got in quarterfinal number 2.
Random start. Riders ready. Watch the gate.
So the quarterfinals continue here at Santiago del Estero, round 6 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. Evan Oliveira out front, early doors and into the turn, picking up a whole shot. That looks like Zimmerman in there in 2, Itzkov in 3, Dodona trying to work his way in as well. But it is the Frenchman leading it in and out of turn number 2, looking very comfortable as they head down that 3rd straight. Zimmerman in a comfortable position as well, but it's all about that 4th spot. In and out of the final corner we go. Itzkov's in there in 3. Who's going to pick up that 4th spot? I've got a feeling it's going to be Dodona of Argentina. Oliveira, Zimmerman, Itzkov, Dodona. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Patino in 5, but Evan Oliveira, no nerves at the World Cup level. He's looking absolutely superb.
Didn't quite make the final last time around, just eliminated that semi-final stage. Going to be looking to go into that final, Oliveira, and I think he's showing that he's got the form. He's just got to get it all clicking together correctly. Dodona, that final turn coming into the last straight, he really drove through that and really sealed that 4th place. It was in question, but great riding by Dodona to take away that last qualifying spot.
Yeah, he was certainly under pressure from Marango Patino as they came down towards that final turn. And he just held it on, didn't give the rider a chance to dive underneath him, kept his momentum, took it down that final straight, across in 4th, works his way into the semi-finals, and he's 1 step closer to making a World Cup main.
So the Heat 2 results on your screen. Evan Oliveira taking away top spot from Zimmerman, Itzkov and Dodona, the final qualifiers from the 2nd of our heats as we move on to heat number 3. And we have got right on the inside on gate number 1, Federico Capello. Capello just looking just like he was just taking a moment there. He's got Maturano alongside him. He's got Molina in here as well as Moreno. It's not the easiest of quarterfinals to go through from.
No, it certainly isn't. Federico Capello and Thomas Maturano know each other very, very well. And Santiago Santamarino in that all bright pink kit. He's certainly been putting some great laps in round number 5. He's taking that momentum through to round number 6. So let's see what he can bring to the table. Thomas Maturano in there in gate number 2, overcoming difficulties in round number 5. It's great to see him on the gate for round 6.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
So heat number 3 underway. Here we go, and it is Santiago Santamarino on the outside. He's just going to work his way in that 3rd spot behind Capello and Maturano. So the 2 Argentinians out in front, looking good right now. Moreno in 3. Who's the rider in that 4th spot? It looks like, I've got a feeling it's De La Vega who's heading towards the corner. No, it's Molina in that 4th qualifying position as they come in and out of the turn. Thomas Maturano's going to take it to the line from Federico Capello. Santamarino battling at the strike with Franco Santiago Molina. 3 Argentinians making it through inside the top 4. That'll keep the home fans happy. And Maturano looking very comfortable.
He looked comfortable going through there. Watching Capello come in through the line, his last few metres were just a cruise.
Yeah, I think he knew he was in the correct position at that point. I had my eye on Santiago Santamarino. You know, good start from the middle, just gotten a little bit sideways. But Maturano and Capello had the inside line going into turn number 1. Still Moreno there in that 3rd spot. And Santiago Molina comfortable there in 4th, the 2 Argentinians, and you could see Capello just having a quick look just to see who was the did he have to cover the line into the corner? Did he have some space? The answer was yes. He went through in 2. Moreno in 3, Molina in 4. Delight for the home fans here in Santiago del Estero. And as we see everybody just getting themselves settled and comfortable, we look at the confirmed results. Thomas Maturano, Federico Capello, Santiago Santamarino and Franco Santiago Molina. 3 Argentinians going through inside the top 4 with the Colombian. You can't get a better result than that in a quarterfinal in South America.
No, it's going to be good to see them all in there. One more of our quarterfinals to go with Cutter Williams, then Kaiser, Kazantsev, Emil, Salam and Diaz. Your riders lined up from right to left from gate 1 to gate 6. 4 riders through. This is going to be interesting. That cut-off point here could be very close in that 4th, 5th position.
Yeah, it's going to be tight, but one rider who I think expecting to be towards the front, James Cutter Williams of the USA. His US-based team manager Rich Pelton will be watching on with interest. Zachary Kaiser of Canada in gate number 2. We've got Alexander Kazantsev, the neutral athlete, in gate 3, and Alexander Emel of Switzerland in the centre of the track, gate number 4.
Okay. Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Last of the quarterfinals for the men under 23, heading down the hill. Zachary Kaiser not getting the start that he wanted. He's back there in 5th spot at the moment as they head into the turn. James Cutter Williams and Alexander Emel are going 1 and 2 at the moment. Kazantsev, the neutral athlete, just got a little bit caught up there as he went across that jump, but he's held onto it and he's worked his way into that 2nd spot, diving underneath James Cutter Williams as they head towards the final corner. So Emil, Kazantsev, Cutter Williams, 1, 2 and 3. Kazantsev slides out as they come out of the final turn. Emil takes the win. James Cutter Williams in 2. Salom in 3. Kaiser getting it in 4, but disaster for Alexander Kazantsev. The tyre blew. The bike disappeared from underneath him.
So low going in there, really putting it under so much pressure because he took such a tight line there. Rather than going the higher line, counterintuitive, so taking that higher line, you just carry more speed, you can take the pace round easier, and blowing the tyre down he went.
Yeah, let's just take another look at this as they go down the hill. Kazantsev was looking really good towards that 1st turn. James Cutter Williams on the inside. Emel had just worked his way across the Swiss rider. took the whole shot. So it was the Swiss and the American rider going 1 and 2, Kazantsev. And he had his problems going down this second straight because he came up short on the first of those jumps on straight number 2. Worked his way back into that second spot, so a real mix of laps here for the neutral athlete. And then he came out of the final turn, his hands were up. He doesn't know what happened. The tyre blew. That was his lap over. Oh, drama, drama, drama in the men under 23 quarterfinals.
He'll be really ruined that. He knew that he was in with a chance, just the bike under too much pressure. The tyre gone, no stopping Emil, who comes through to take away that race win from Cutter Williams. Salem and Kaiser, the last two of the qualifiers going in through, just awaiting that confirmed result. And here it comes. So it is indeed Emil Williams, Salem and Kaiser, the 4 riders going through. Diaz and Kazantsev not making it in and through from our quarterfinals, the last of our races in the first part of racing here today at Santiago del Estero. Round number 6, the final round of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. The breeze is blowing, the trees are bending at the moment. The riders, though, well, they are fighting both each other and nature out on the track, as well as trying to keep that bike in one piece. It's not always remaining the case, and not a good day at the office. Some a great day at the office so far for others, but plenty more race action to come here today at round number 6, where we're going to see our elite titles in both the men's and women's competition decided here in the very final races. It's likely to come down to our 2 finals in the men's elite and the women's elite in terms of who's going to take the win. And it could come down to the final races in terms of top 10 positions for riders across the under 23 and the elite.
Yeah, certainly the drama's going to go all the way to the final races of this 2025 World Cup season. You know, will Sylvain Andre and Saya Kakibara be the title winners? It's to be decided. There's plenty that can go on before then. We've got semi-finals to come before the finals. You know, it's BMX racing. Things can change in the blink of an eye. I, for one, can't wait to see what's going to happen next.
Indeed, so lots more great racing on the way to come. But let's take a little bit of a look at some of the best moments so far. So as we take a look back at the race in the first part of our racing from round 6 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup here in Santiago del Estero for the finale, we've seen riders who were on form in round 5 perform in round 6. Rago, Matis Rago, Richard, a classic example. We've also got lots of riders who still have work to do, and maybe this is their chance to prove themselves.
Yeah, they've got one last chance to make an impression on this World Cup season here in Santiago del Estero, the last round of the 2025 series. Certainly the men under 23 category, there's some serious firepower coming from the French, as there is in the elite class as well. So the French doing nothing to dispel the the belief that they are the most powerful country in BMX in 2025.
Oh, but for how long with the ascendancy of the Netherlands? I mean, Vissing and Noordam both are looking incredibly strong. It's going to be great to see what they can do here today. And we can't discount the really strong South American contingent, particularly in terms of Argentina here on a home track with that home support. It's worth that extra little bit, isn't it? That could be the difference between coming across the line in first or coming across the line in 4th place, because it is such fine margins.
Yeah, you've got your Federico Capellos, your Thomas Mataranos, and Gonzalo Molina, who wants to repeat that win from 2019. So yeah, there could be jokers in the pack and spoilers coming along before we can even blink.
Well, I hope you're going to join us for all of the racing action to come as we wrap up the World Cup for 2025 here in Santiago del Estero, round number 6 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. It's going to be an absolute blast. I can't wait for all of that action. I hope you'll join Rich Eames and myself, Matt Payne. Let's hope that wind dies down and all of our riders are all ready to go. But from Rich and me, we'll see you very shortly.
Goodbye.